Hey, how's everybody going today? Hope y'all are doing well. It's funny, I was getting ready for this, and I still get a little flutter sometimes going live. I've been doing this for a while. It used to just drive me crazy, anxiety-wise, but like we teach our clients, you learn to use things, something that's supposed to be negative, you gotta help your clients to use it for good. So now when I feel the flutter, it's like, oh, it's showtime. It's game on. That means that something good, something big is about to go down. So I had a little flutter, and we're gonna see how things go today. But I'm glad to have y'all join today. We want to get into some of the topics that we talked about in supervision today, and we had some exciting topics. I'm just so blessed to have awesome supervisees that just share their experiences about what they have been grafting throughout the week. But we're talking about today about how your influence or how influence can impact the beliefs about, or how influence impacts our beliefs about ourselves. And it's the sketch that I've been using from Gottman. I think it's super important that we use different tools in order to support us through the therapeutic process. And I'm learning to add on, but I try to minimize the tools because what happens if you get too many, you don't use none, you don't use any. I try to narrow it down, but I want to share with you a few little things that I use and that I've been trying to support my supervisees with utilizing so that they can make better assessment. We talked about the ACE questionnaire on last week, and I've talked about the dreams within conflict, their little tool, and this is from John and Julie Gottman. So you have to actually purchase their information to get that, but it's called Dreams Within Conflict. But we're going to go into a little bit of a scenario here to help us to understand how when we hear certain things from a client, how do we take that information and turn the assessment into a treatment plan? How do we turn our assessment into a plan of care, a treatment plan? What's some things that we can use to kind of push that along? And so we're going to talk about that. And the experience that we're going to be using is that what would happen if you had a client who had concerns? We've used this example before with they really just need, or they want to have gifts. They haven't always wanted to they've always desired gifts, but not so much. At some period in time, gifts wasn't that important to him, but all of a sudden, gifts means a lot now. And in my marriage, I'm feeling like I need it. This same client says that gifts is important because I feel like I should be doted. I feel like that I should be in a situation to where my husband actually wants to give, and that I'm not the only one giving, right? And the client mentions that, you know what, being this way, transitioning this way makes me feel somewhat selfish. That's a big thing right there. If your client says that, it makes them feel selfish. That right there is giving you so much data of what potentially can be going on with the client. But then she says, I wasn't given much when I was young. I needed to be appreciative. I think she was adopted or something like that. There was no Christmas gifts, no birthdays. As a matter of fact, the people that were around her, they gave their kids gifts, but didn't give her gifts, or they would give her something real cheap, or if anything. And just the idea was that you should be grateful that we're taking care of you, and that you're not in this situation that maybe, I guess, with her biological. If I give, then somebody will give back, is what she started to believe. So we get into the core belief. She felt that she should just be appreciative. And there's certain things that kind of, when you've been in that environment, if you have a client that's in that environment, if you're teaching your supervisees how to work with people that have been in this environment, that the effect, the impact of this type of exposures typically makes a client think in a certain type of way. And so we look to try to rule these things out. So we're going to get into that real quick. But before we do, I do want to take like 30 seconds to let you all know about it. The thing never shows up. I always don't have it ready. It's user error. I know. I just try to do this real quick. Golly, man. But I want to I want to notify everybody about our supervisor training. I'm never ready for that. Try to make this quick, but we will be having it on January 29th and 30th. Please come out if you are looking to become a supervisor. We've got something special for you. We always try to make it right with our supervisor training. And then also tentatively, I believe it's around February 14th or 16th. We'll have the details on that, whichever one falls on the Monday, Tuesday, I believe. Anyway, we'll get back on that. But in February, I believe it's 16th, we're having a tentative date for our next DSM training. This is a training that soon will be required for all clinical social workers. All right, let's get back into what we're talking about here. All right. So I want to share real quick, and we're already shooting by on time. This little video, and this is another thing you can do with your supervisees. It's a thing I've been using lately, which is new. Okay, so they have all these features sometimes that we're not using on Zoom. And so if you want to make it more interesting, sometimes if you want to find out more data from concerning your supervisees, you may need to want to consider trying out the polls and quizzes option. And so what I did this time was I actually had a case that I was going to use that was relative to something that I had experienced, where the dreams within conflict tool was used. And from the symptoms of that, I feel like that my spouse does not listen to me, and they're not really concerned about my needs, and they're often just spending money when without checking in with me. That was the symptom. That's what we call the tip of the iceberg. But beneath, from using the dreams within conflict activity, we were able to find, after we got to the bottom, which the last question: what is your biggest fear? What is the biggest fear scenario? That these symptoms of losing control, in a sense, or not being valued by the spouse, and them just paying attention and listening to them, that made them feel like the spouse would cheat on them again. And that's what it got down to. But just using, I would have never thought about that on my own from just asking questions. That would have just had to come up. But that activity is so powerful. So you also look into it, John Gottman and Julie Gottman. But I gave them the option: are we going to do a role play with that case? And I didn't say it, I just said a role play. Or do y'all want to watch some short video? And we did the little we used the little poll, and it's real easy to use. And I was able to see, I have 4 groups. Almost everybody, hands down, wanted to do video, which showed me that, you know what, people like video. My folks like video. So we're gonna show this real quick and process it real quick. Let me see if I can share my screen. All right. We're gonna have to skip around.
It seems so selfish. Yeah, you got a conflict inside yourself around this. If you ask for what you really want, it means you're a bad person, you're selfish. But if you don't ask for what you want, then you get deprived, right?
I'm gonna stop right there. If you feel that you're a bad person because if you ask for something, then I'm going to have to rule out with my client that they don't already feel like they're a bad person. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to process that. Like, if you're going to feel like you're a bad person just because you ask for something that you need, there's a great chance that your baseline is that I feel like I'm a bad person. This is just something that gives me almost cause or an excuse to feel that way. Or to feel justified in feeling that way, or get, not even that, but give me reason to why I feel that way. But really, the 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say that if this comes up with a client, I'm going to have to start processing and ruling out that you don't already feel like you're a bad person. Okay. And it's a problem here with just hearing that one statement, because if you feel like that you're a bad person, if you ask for something that you need, or if you feel like that it's being selfish, as she would express, if she didn't already did, I can't remember, it's just now. But if selfish or a bad person, then that means that essentially that you have issues with receiving good. Okay. you likely have issues with receiving good, because maybe once you get good, you question if you even deserve it. So then, because you don't necessarily believe that you deserve it, you don't even strive for it. Matter of fact, if it's given to you, you may feel a little bit funny. You get into situations often where people don't give you that, because, and it's not really, I'm not into that you need to demand respect. You just get it. You just show up for it. But you don't put yourself in positions where people can respect you. Why? Because guess what? I don't necessarily respect myself as much, for lack of a better way to explain it, because I really don't feel that confident about me. We're running out of time. I'm gonna skip over here to some more when she's talking about how she feels. And this is a person that wants gifts, but she's been afraid to really ask for them.
Um, I've always felt that gifts are a token of your affection or your appreciation for someone. And that when you give them a gift, it's your way of showing that. Especially it's something that they wanted, or something that they didn't know that they could ever get. That's huge. And, I don't really grow up with a lot of gifts. And then when you're showing a lot, it wasn't anything that was particularly mine. I always having a dream of being given to at some point. And maybe if I give enough, and they will everything.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. So she's indicating that she really wanted gifts. But I think part of the problem has been is that she hasn't felt confident about her value to receive gifts, and sometimes that gives a kind of false read to someone who may be more inclined to not just try to give you gifts. Because if you're acting like, oh, it's not such a big deal, but you're not stating that, hey, this really matters, I really want it, then a lot of times it can send off the wrong message. And many times you could be attracted to people who are kind of narcissistic and don't mind not giving you not just gifts, but other things that you need. Okay, so I want to pull something up again, and I've showed this before. And I want to show this real quick, because what we're trying to do is share with our group how to, begin the treatment planning. And the treatment planning is, many times we're basing it on what the problems are, some of the things that we need to resolve. And the treatment plan many times is tied in with the core beliefs of the individual. So here we have a person that she said it feels selfish for her to just say that, hey, I want gifts. I would like to have gifts. I'm kind of over not wanting gifts anymore. I feel like I should be able to get that. Um, so with a person like this, what we do is have them to feel something like this out on their own. They can do it while they're in session. It's a good sometimes activity for them to take home. This is one of my more potent activities, because a lot of times you got to make sure that your client is in a position to where they're going to answer it honestly. And sometimes we're somewhat in almost like a denial when we're not ready to accept that this is actually what I feel about myself. So you want to make sure that they're in the place to where they can answer this correctly. And that takes a little bit of work sometimes. But I don't deserve love. I'm going to go on and check that off, y'all, because what is love? We don't have time to get into a lot of this, but just right off the bat, I don't deserve love. Even if she didn't check that, I'm going to have be inclined to believe it's a possibility that this is somewhat what she believes, because guess what? What is love? Love involves having someone who is caring, who is affectionate, who is empathetic, who is considerate of your needs, the things that you desire. Okay. So if you don't feel that it's proper to request that these things happen, if you don't require this, then you might feel unconsciously. So much of what we're treating with our clients are unconscious. We can't wait for them to tell us that this is how they feel. We have to be able to discern from certain actions, or we wouldn't be expert that this is likely a scenario. This is likely what you are experiencing, even if we don't verbally assert that to them or tell that to them. So I'm gonna check off for her that she probably feels like she doesn't deserve love because she feels like she's a bad person. What person that feels like they're a bad person feels that they deserve love? Some do, but a lot of times that's an issue. I must so what's some other ones we might look at? Well, if we're feeling like I don't deserve love, we might also feel like I'm not lovable. I must earn love to deserve it. She talked about that, earning love in order to deserve it. So I'm kind of feeling like I might not deserve love. This is what we're saying. I must earn love. She's saying that I give all these gifts to other people. If you saw more of it, I give all these gifts to other people because I'm hoping that I will get it back. So that in itself, that equation spells out that I don't feel like that I deserve love without me giving. I don't feel like just me being myself and being who I am, that's enough for me to be loved. I have to go and do in order to receive love. See, these are the things that we have to process on our own. Rewind this if because I'll be choppy, but rewind this because there's some good nuggets here on how you process that without a client even telling you these things. You've got to be able to do the math. Now, I know we're not real good with math a lot of times in the mental health sciences, but we've got to do the emotional math in these situations. I must please others to be worthy. Check. I'm not capable. I'm gonna check that. I'm skipping around. My thoughts are dumb. I'm a bad person. It's funny. I checked that one for her, but before I even noticed that she said that. But I don't deserve pleasure. Okay. I don't deserve pleasure. Ooh, man. So that takes things to another level. I'm not respected. Of course, you're not respected because you don't feel like that you deserve respect. You don't even feel like you deserve love. You just feel like what you said earlier, that I should just be appreciative. I just should be thankful that you even want to deal with me because I don't have anything to offer you. Not really. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times these people, when they're getting love, they feel like imposters. Feel like it's imposter syndrome because I don't deserve it. And like, when are you gonna figure out that I'm not worth crap? And why are you wasting your time with me? I can't have what I want. Okay, so these are some things that you can use. I'm going to keep bringing this tool up because a lot of times people are seeing it for the first time, and it's a big tool, and there's so many different ways to process a case. So many different ways to process a case. I'm going to leave it here because we're about that time. I'll never get this down to 10 minutes for real. But I hope this has been helpful, and y'all have a blessed weekend and take care till next week. All right, bye-bye.